While our offense was in a thick London fog, our defense played like it belongs in Buckingham Palace. We have that recap versus the Jets for you. Plus, with the Broncos at 4-2, where do they rank among the top teams in the AFC? Come find that out. And lastly, finally, is help finally on the way? Find out. Denver Bronco Roundup special night starts now. Hello. Welcome, Broncos country. Another episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup. Yes, back on the original Tuesday night. Two of us here. Stepfather filling in for Keith Brugman, who's on vacation this week. But alongside of me, to my right, Mr. Trevor Rocket Man Salzman. How are we doing this evening, Trevor, on a Tuesday evening, getting the week pretty much started?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, Kenny. I know we didn't get a chance to do our post-game show. We had some technical difficulties on Sunday, so we apologize for that first and foremost for everybody. We will be back this weekend with the post-game show. As always, apologize for the internet issues this weekend on Sunday. But nevertheless, excited to be here, talk Broncos, recap the game, but also look forward into this Broncos roster. It looks like there's been some injury issues the Broncos have been dealing with lately.
Yeah, we got a fun line show up for everybody. I know, Wednesday. It's not the typical Wednesday show, so we're bringing back the old school Tuesday Denver Bronco Roundup show for one night only. So Trevor and I are here, and we're going to do it like we always used to do on Tuesday nights. Start with the recap, and then we got a couple topics for everybody after we do our recap. Couple days to sink in, Trevor. I watched the game. It was on national TV, 9:30 a.m., got home from work, took a short little power nap, got up, and maybe I should have stayed in my, should have made that power nap my normal 6 to 7 hour nap, because it sure looked like the offense was sleeping. But I'll tell you what, that defense was one of the best performances I've ever seen. And my opinion, and, love the audience's opinion too. I don't want to hear media and people say, well, it was Justin Fields and he did this and that. Still did what you did because the secondary had the coverage. So those were coverage sacks. And if Justin Fields don't get rid of the ball, you don't get rid of the ball. Defense, lights out. If I can give a grade 10 times higher than an A+, I would. But A+ on the defense. But offensive side of the ball, Trevor, like I said, it was pretty bad. I want to get your thoughts, but let me get to the comments first because they're coming in hot and heavy. So Ernie Mays, our good friend Ernie Mays, first to say hello, go Broncos country. Hello, Kenny K, and hello, Trevor. Everybody's friend, Michael Ronquillo. And Michael, we didn't get a chance on Sunday, but let's give you a happy belated birthday from the Denver Bronco Roundup. I'm going to give you a salute too, my friend. Everybody's friend, Michael Ronquillo. Happy belated birthday. I was hoping to do that on Sunday, Michael, but we had some technical difficulties. He's given us 100 stars, Trevor. So thank you again, Michael. Our good friend, Albert Dutchy Knoppers, saying hello, y'all. What's up, Knoppers? We're good to see you, Dutchy. This game was an ugly win. Defense was supreme. Bo had a couple uglies, but the offense playing bad was not on him. Jets defense played really well also. Well said. Then Ernie saying defense was awesome, offense mediocre. And then Albert, am I having mixed feelings about the upcoming game? For those of you who don't know, I am a Giants fan, so I'm going to have to respectfully hold some of my thoughts. But I might join the guys Friday for a little bit, Albert, and have some fun on Friday. So mixed feelings? No, I'm Giants is still number one in my heart, but the Broncos are number two. So, and giving a couple happy birthdays out there for Mr. Ronquillo. So, yeah, Trevor, let's get your thoughts. You want to start offense or defense? Want to start whatever side you want to start on, and then we'll go back and forth a little bit on the recap.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's got to start on the offensive side of the ball. And this is a concerning part. I mean, this is something that I've talked about for a long time. This offense just being really inconsistent. 1 week, they come back against the Eagles, and you look, there's something there. There's some sort of spark towards the end of the game against the Eagles. And now they come in, they're flat. They come out flat against a team like the Jets, who, let's be honest, the Broncos are much better than. The score shouldn't be 13-11. It should be much better. Sean Payton knows that. You can tell by his comments post-game. He's not happy. But that's the thing. It's just since Sean Payton's been in Denver, this offense has been inconsistent. Whether it's Russell Wilson or Bo Nix, quarterback, the grand scheme of everything is this offense has been inconsistent. Once again, Sean Payton goes away from the run game. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, this is a guy that you got to feed. 14 carries for 40 yards. I mean, got to get him in a rhythm. Bo Nix dropping back to pass 30 times again. I mean, this is back to the same old Sean Payton way that the Broncos shouldn't be playing. That's not their strength of their team. That's not how they should be playing at all. And it's unfortunate that Sean Payton continues to go back to that pass-heavy offense and not keeping a balanced attack. Because the last couple of weeks, Kenny and Posse, Sean Payton's done, I think, a really good job of being able to have a run and pass balance out pretty even across the board. And it's really proven its point where when J.K. Dobbins, rushes for 70, 80 yards, but it helps Bo Nix out a lot more and helps open up the passing game. So offense, for me, it continues to struggle. Up and down, they've got to find consistency. That's all there is to it. This is a Jets team that I know Aaron Glenn is a head coach, and he's a defensive mind. I get that. Me and Keith talked about it on Friday. I had this score being a lot higher than 13-11. I think a lot of people did, but this is a game where this offense should be able to cook a little bit into, and it's concerning when they were not able to beat up on the defense that they should have.
Yeah, we got a couple more comments in a second, Trevor. That Jets defense was ranked at the bottom as well, and it sure didn't look like it on Sunday. I've been coming on here in the chat on live. We're 6 weeks in now. We're going into week 7, and I compare. This is a perfect comparison for the Broncos and my favorite team, the Giants. Giants rookies, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo. I'm thinking of a couple other guys that we drafted. Of course, Abdul Carter contributing. R.J. Harvey has been a non-factor most of the season. Pat Bryant is non-existent. This is a bad job. Bad job. The draft has been bad. I'm sorry. And people may disagree with me, but Pat Bryant hasn't showed up and RJ Harvey hasn't showed up. Barron's been playing okay the last couple of weeks, but the defense has been great. So I can't say that. But on the offensive side of the ball, you need a spark. And these two rookies haven't done anything. And I'm bringing their names up because they're a second and third round pick. I'm not going to mention the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks tonight. Tonight's about the 2nd and 3rd round pick on the offense. It's time to get somebody stepping up. You drafted these guys high with expectations. How much development do we need? That's unacceptable. These offense needs to start clicking, and it was bad because Cortland Sutton, when you got a good corner on him, we saw what PS2 did to Garrett Wilson. Well, Sauce Gardner did almost the same thing to Cortland Sutton, and then nobody else is stepping up. Troy Franklin's fumbling the ball. Pat Bryant's non-existent. Mims makes a play or two, and that's it. Evan Ingram made a couple plays, but that's what I expect from Evan Ingram. 4 or 5 catches. You're not going to get much more because the teams are going to focus on that. Offense needs to get creative real soon, or this team could be in some trouble. And defense can only carry you so far.
Well, and I was going to say, Kenny, before we get to the comments, also concerning thing is Bo Nix. I mean, there's a sophomore slump there, whether we want to admit that or not. He is going through a little bit of a slump. There's times where, man, Bo Nix, he looks really good. he's comfortable. There's those down times where Bo Nix looks a little lost out there. I think his play caller is a little bit to do with that as well, not putting him in the best possible positions to succeed game in and game out. But Bo Nix kind of not progressing each and every game like we would hope. Of course, there's going to be those games where he's gonna not play the best, but it just can't play that bad and let it get to that point. So it is concerning that Bo Nix isn't really taking the strides that he was. It seems like last year, at least yet. Anyway, not ready to put the panic button on Bo. And this is not on Bo. I think this is more on Sean Payton and this offense and the play calling. But nevertheless, this offense is just too inconsistent for me. And you're not going to win playoff games being this inconsistent.
Yep. And we're going to hit into some of the problems on the offense in a second. I do want to catch up on the comments. We got Roy Osborne saying, good evening, guys. He's going to be at the game on Sunday, and he says he has dismal opinions on the offense. He's going to try and find a Giants fan and see if we can get a video and promote the K&K. Well, Roy, find some Denver Bronco fans and, say hello to Denver Bronco Roundup. Get a nice little group of Bronco fans there, and we'll get you guys on the air. Post-game show, we'll put it on, the recorded video that you get of us, or even after the game. If it's a celebration for the Broncos, come on after the game, Roy, and get some Bronco fans after the game. That'd be fun. He's saying, take away the Jets team. This offense still not great. Jody, I disagree with our fellow horseman. He says every team has a bad game. The Broncos didn't have a bad game. The offense had a bad game, and it's been a bad game for multiple weeks this year. Broncos didn't have a bad game. The defense sure as heck didn't have a bad game. So the team did not have a bad game. The offense did. Miss Pearl saying hello. Morgan Trinkets. How you doing, Miss Pearl? Good to see you. Yep. And Michael, I agree with this. Having the NFL game in London was a bad idea for the Broncos. In general, I understand you want to get – this is a topic, maybe for the morning juice, maybe for, my other shows on K&K. But I'll hit this real quick, Michael. The games, I understand they want to spread it worldwide. But for us fans, I'm on the East Coast and I'm watching a game at 9:30. Michael's out there in Arizona. He's got to get up at 6 a.m. to watch a football game. You're getting up at 6:30, 7 o'clock to watch a football game. That's not fair to us as fans to have to watch our team. And then as the Broncos, they got to travel overseas and, go ahead in time, a few hours. It's the Jets had to do it too, but to me, the times should be different on when they play, where it's, not necessarily, a daytime game over there. Make it a nighttime game. So it's a little later on our side here. 3 o'clock, maybe it's a 8 o'clock game start over there. Why not? I'm tired of this 9:30 every week, it's and 6:30 for you guys out west. It's tough. But, I get why they were over there, Michael, but, picture being a Jaguars fan, and you lose be a ticket holder for a Jaguars fan. You lose a home game every year because they're out there in London every year. That's not fair to the fans. Catch up back on this. Albert saying one positive was Ingram got to play 9 different receivers. A couple more here. And Albert saying down below again, Bo not playing well has to do with coaching. And Phil McLaughlin saying good evening. I don't have, if it is with Phil, always sends us stars. Trevor, I don't know. I don't have that on me. Phil, if you did send stars, if you want to put it in the chat, please do. I know you always are gracious enough to support us. So I do want to recognize you if you did send stars. Good evening, Kenny and Rocket Man. Any free agents available for our offensive line? Kind of worried about the O-line now. Also, I am confused when you guys are on, LOL. Special night. Keats on vacation, Phil. We made a post earlier. We were going to try and get on Sunday. We had technical difficulties. The schedule is going to be Wednesday going forward. This is just a special night this week with my other network that I'm on Wednesdays. I couldn't do a show with Denver Bronco Roundup on Wednesday, so we're on tonight, special night. Phil, we'll hit your question up now. We do have this lined up for later. And you did send stars, Phil. Thank you. Thank you very much. 100 stars from Phil. Appreciate it, Phil. Thank you as always. And going to answer your question now. Any free agents available from the offensive line, Trevor? We elevated Calvin Throckmorton. Is that how you say his name?
Throckmorton.
Throckmorton.
Yeah.
And we signed Calvin Barnhart from practice squad from the Chargers. Carson Barnhart. Excuse me. Don't get excited about that. I do have a free agent name, and I got a trade partner, a trade option. I'm going to save the trade option for our segment later. But I'm going to give Phil a free agent available, Trevor, and I'm going to say, I want your thoughts on this. We know Ben Powers is out with an injury. We know there's no offensive line depth. So when I look at free agents that are available, it's like, man, if you're an offensive lineman and you're sitting on the couch, how good are you? So then I looked a little further down the line and I saw a couple guys that are retired. And I say retired with an asterisk because you can maybe get somebody out of retirement. The Giants did it a couple years ago. Justin Pugh came out of retirement to come play with the Giants. There's a name out there that I think would fit this role perfect. Play a couple weeks until Powers comes back. If you lose somebody, if you lose a center, if the center goes out, Wattenberg, or somebody on the interior line, see if Brandon Scherf will come out of retirement, Trevor. I think he could fill in nice for a couple weeks. I got a trade idea later, but Brandon Scherf, I would give a call to see if he'd want to come out of retirement to play for a playoff contender with a chance to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be a name to watch out for as well. But there really is no, ideal options out there on the open market, Phil, as far as from a free agent standpoint. I think any additions the Broncos are going to make to their offensive line, a serious additions, not practice squad, would be through a trade. Joel Bettino is a guy to watch out for. I don't know if that's a name we're going to mention down the line. He's a name that I've heard connected to the Broncos more than anything. So from the Browns, so that's a name to watch out for. His contract's a little expensive, so they'd have to get a little creative with this contract. But I don't know if the Broncos are going to make any sort of signing or free agent or a trade. Because here's the thing: I think there's a guy in house that could be your starting guard. And I'm talking about Alex Palczewski. Talk about a guy that you want to get into the rotation and be a starter. I know Palczewski mostly is a tackle, but this is the time we're going to have to start getting creative. I mean, you're really, your offensive line depth's really getting thin, and Palczewski, he's a capable starter on your offensive line. He, I think, can handle playing guard for this team until you get Ben Powers back, until you get a little bit healthy, because Ben Powers is going to be out, expected to be out until December. It's 2 months without your starting guard. You're going to have to figure out an option long term that's going to be able to fill in until Ben Powers gets back. My vote is Alex Palczewski.
I'm going to do this now, Trevor, and then I got some other. We'll do the playmakers later for maybe help on the way. So my offensive line trade idea: call the team I follow, New York Giants. Evan Neal, yes, I said Evan Neal is still on a rookie contract. Was the number 7 pick a couple years ago. Never panned out for Giant standard to be the right tackle that we drafted him to be. But they converted him to interior line to start the season, preseason. And with the starting offensive line, he hasn't been able to beat the interior lineman for the job. So he's been inactive, but he's practicing every week. You call the Giants and you offer him a 6th-round pick, you probably get it done tomorrow. And if I'm the Giants, I'm calling Denver to get him off of our, he's just collecting dust. He's not going to play with us. And he's better than Matt Pert. He's better than Matt Pert and Calvin Throckmorton. I'll tell you that much. And it makes too much sense for me for the Broncos not to at least explore that, if it's only going to cost you a 6th or maybe even a 7th-round pick for a guy who's got a ton of talent, who played at Alabama and was the 7th pick in the draft. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, and another name to watch out for as well is Trevor Penning from the Saints. The Broncos and Saints have that trade connection. They just made a trade for Devon Bailey a few months ago. So I mean, Trevor Penning is starting guard for the Saints. I would be interesting to see, Kenny. I know we're throwing names out there right now. How concerned the Broncos are with Ben Powers' injury, and how concerned are they that he's going to be able to come back 100%. If they go out there and they go shopping for a big name or a bigger name, that tells me that they're more concerned about his injury. If
Yeah.
they're kind of filling in and they're not really making a big, merge for somebody, then it tells me that they're confident he comes back. So I'm waiting and really looking forward to seeing how the Broncos evaluate that. I'm watching that closely as we get closer to the trade deadline.
And real quick, the Giants are coming. Okay. They are going to feast. They feasted on the Chargers when they had a banged up offensive line. Dexter Lawrence is going to be lined up over that guard. Abdul Carter is going to be lined up in the middle. They're going to have some weird packages to confuse the heck out of Luke Wattenberg and protecting that left guard, because Luke Wattenberg is going to have to help over there. There's going to be some stuff that is really going to be maybe concerning for the Broncos, and we're going to get our answers on Sunday. If the Broncos, like you said, on Monday, you're going to know if the Broncos are taking Ben Powers' injury seriously, because I think a move is coming for interior linemen, because you cannot go forward with some of the teams coming up and their pass rushes with what you got with Ben Powers out. Keith's got a question. What's up, Keith? Keith on vacation this week. Good to see you, my friend. Hello, Horseman. Your thoughts on a 1 to 10 scale, how ready each group is of being a playoff contender? Offense, defense, special teams. I'll go real quick on mine. Defense, 10. I'm not sugarcoating it. 10. What you did against the Jets, I don't care. Anybody, like I said, Justin Fields is the quarterback. I don't care. Minus 10 yards net. Garrett Wilson was shut down, their star player. Breece Hall shut down. He's a borderline all-pro running back. All right, that's a 10, and you're missing your top linebacker, and I'm still giving them a 10. So when Greenlaw comes back, like Ernie said, 11, I'll give him an 11. I'll cheat. But on the offensive side of the ball, I'm being kind when I say this. 5. I'm being kind. It could even be a 4. But I'm going to be kind right now in 5 because, J.K. Dobbins did have a, 100-yard game. Bo Nix has shined a little bit here and there. Cortland Sutton, we're talking about the whole season, not just the one game. I'm going to go 5. And I'm going to go about the same with special teams. And I'm a little concerned with the special teams. They did bring in, Gray is the last name. What is his first name? AJ? JT Gray. Sorry. JT Gray comes in, special teamer from New Orleans that Peyton's familiar with. So that can trend up to maybe a 6 or a 7 that's starting this week. But 5, 5, and 10. Defense is ready. Defense is ready to get you to a Super Bowl. That's my quick answer.
For me, I think I'm right there, right around where you're at, Kenny. From an offensive standpoint, I may even go lower. I'll go 4, just so we don't agree on 5. But I was leaning towards 5 as well. This offense is inconsistent. I mean, it's been inconsistent. Not just this year; it was inconsistent last year. It's the same thing. The defense was holding this team up last year. They were winning this team games, and the offense had their times where they would show up and play, but then there's times where they wouldn't. It was inconsistent. Once again, a rookie quarterback, I get it, but at some point in time, the excuses are going to be out the door. I mean, and fingers going to be pointed, and they were pointed on Sunday. The offense, there's some room to some ground that they need to be making up for sure before this team can win a playoff game. Defensively, I'll give it a 8 probably. I think right now I think a really good number. I can't really give them a 10 because there was times in this defense has given up big plays downfield and have given up a good amount of points. But I think for the most part they've held strong. And I think that there's some areas of weakness on the team, especially at inside linebackers, especially without Dre Greenlaw. Now, if Dre Greenlaw is back and he's making contributions to this team in a positive way, then I think this could be a 10 for sure. That's how important Dre Greenlaw is to this team. But right now it's an 8 on defense, and the special teams, I think it's just as bad as offense. Probably I would say a 4, 3, 4. I mean, special teams has just been bad all year. I mean, and Darren Rizzi, he was supposed to come in and fix special teams. It's not been fixed. It's worse. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's just defense is really what's holding this team down right now. Hopefully, this offense and on special teams, they can turn it around. They've got still plenty of time. I'm not ready to panic yet, but it is starting to get a little concerning week after week when you've seen the inconsistency on offense and on special teams.
Yep. Well said. Phil's got a 10 on the defense like me, and he's like me, 5-5 on the offense and special teams. Got to improve to even think about a run, in my opinion. 6 on the offense, 10 on the defense, 3 on special teams from Paul Schaefer. Good to see you, Paul. 3 on the offense, 10 on the defense. Special teams gets a 4 from Michael Ronquillo. Offensive coaching is a 3. I do not put it all on the players from Albert. And want to get this name out. Hello, DeAndre Weatherspoon on YouTube. Welcome. Defensively, yes, Super Bowl caliber, and offensively inconsistent and Sean Payton getting in his own way, making it complicated, and should keep it simple. I say it every week. This should be his playbook, not this. 2 pages of this. He's got the back, and then he's flipping things over. Stop. Do this. That's all, Sean. You want to add a player to each week? Fine. Stop with this. It drives me nuts how big his playbook is. And it's really like DeAndre couldn't have said it better. It's complicated. He needs to make it more simple.
Well, and it's also the and this is the thing that drives me crazy with Sean Payton too. It's also getting the play call in right time and on time, so Bo Nix can make line adjustments. That's very, very important for a quarterback to make line adjustments, get the play call in a lot sooner. But it's just about sticking to the run game. I mean, if the run game ain't working at all, he goes completely away from it and then don't look back. I mean, and that's, for me, it's the wrong thing to do. If the run game's not working, keep pounding the rock. You have this offensive line that you paid big money for. I know Ben Power's out right now. You got Mike McGlinchey, one of the best run blockers in the league. I mean, at right tackle. So it's just like, use this offensive line to their strengths. They can't pass block 30 times for Bo Nix, just so Bo Nix and you're not putting Bo Nix in a setting him up for success. I mean, by doing that, you have guys like J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. Use them. I mean, that's the thing. So sticking to the run game still seems like it's an issue for Sean Payton, and it shouldn't be. He's a veteran play caller. Sometimes it doesn't seem like that.
No, and you know what? He's I hate to say it, but he's getting out coached by his defensive coordinator, and I think it's his egos might. I hate to say it, but Sean Payton's ego sometimes is like this when it should be this. And if I think he gets upset sometimes when he's getting out coached by his fellow coordinators, and sometimes Vance Joseph does out coach him, in my opinion. And he doesn't give. If you watch his press conferences, Vance Joseph did an amazing job. You never hear that. You never hear that. He's always about, oh, we got to do this. No, why don't you give your defense a little praise? They had the best outing in history, minus 10 yards passing for a whole game. Why don't you give your defensive coordinator some credit where credit's deserved? Sometimes. So anyway, got anything else on the offensive side of the ball, Trevor? Want to move to the defense? You want to hit the halftime break with Morgan Trinkets, or you want to do the defense real quick?
We can do the defense really quick, and we'll hit our sponsor after that.
For me, I'm going to go quick on the defense. I mean, 9 sacks, Garrett Wilson shut down, Breece Hall shut down, Justin Fields, he was holding onto the ball maybe, out of those 9 sacks, 5 of those sacks, he was holding on to that ball for over 4 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, maybe even longer. Well, that's praise to Riley Moss, the secondary, PS2, the linebackers, because the coverage was there. Garrett Wilson's an all-pro. Garrett Wilson was shut down once again by PS2. Defense, Super Bowl caliber defense, Super Bowl ready defense. Can't say anything bad about them. They were put in a short field a couple times because of the Troy Franklin fumble. a big punt return or kickoff return, I think it was, or a punt return, and they held them to field goals each time. Hats off to the defense. I tip my cap. You got a 10 from me, definitely for the game, and some of you were giving in 10s for the season, but I'm 10 definitely for the game. So hats off to you, Trevor. I'm going to let you take over because I know you're a defensive guy and you love it.
Yeah, I mean, I praised Vance Joseph, and I've praised him for a couple of years now. And I wasn't a huge fan of Vance Joseph coming back to Denver at first, but he's totally changed my mind. I mean, I know the defense ain't perfect every single week. They're not going to shut out every single team. It's just not how it works in the NFL. But this team on Sunday, 9 sacks. I mean, they're all over Justin Fields, exactly what they needed to do for them to be able to have success against Justin Fields. Don't let him get comfortable in the pocket. Make his life a living hell out there. And don't let him get outside the pocket because he can run with his legs as well. Garrett Wilson to shut down PS2. I wasn't really too worried about, Garrett Wilson get going with PS2 on him. But it's everybody else. It was Mason Taylor. It was Breece Hall. Don't let those kind of guys go. Anybody else other than Garrett Wilson, because you knew probably Pat Surtain was going to shut down Garrett Wilson. So for me, you shut down the Jets playmakers. I mean, and I like the young nucleus the Jets have there when it comes to the playmakers. Mason Taylor, a guy we've talked about multiple times in the draft process that we wanted the Broncos to go get. And then Breece Hall. I mean, Breece Hall is a guy that's very capable of putting up 1,000-yard season plus. And so the Broncos being able to hold those guys and maintain that throughout the game was huge. And you're able to get Justin Fields as much as you were and take advantage of the Jets' offensive line. Absolutely huge. Great game planning by Vance Joseph to attack Justin Fields early, and you got 9 sacks out of him. I mean, it's absolutely huge. QBR of 9 for Justin Fields. When was the last time you heard that? But it's been a long time.
Yeah. Everybody's enjoying that on defense. Michael was saying 72-yard kickoff return. So, yes, 72-yard kickoff return and a fumble by Troy Franklin, and both times only a field goal led up by the defense. So, amazing job by the defense. 11 points allowed. Not the 9 points allowed. Safety added 2 points for the 11. So, only 3 field goals in this game, 2 on a short field, or this may even be close to a shutout for the Broncos defense. So, hats off. Got to build off it. Again, my opinion, if you're not going to see that next week, but what you got to do next week, and we'll have a nice preview show on Friday, is you got to contain. And if you contain Jackson Dart in the pocket, you're probably going to win the game. But if he rolls out and starts scrambling around and getting those Michael Vick-like yards, it might be a tougher game than you think. So we'll have that preview on Friday. A couple more comments, and then we'll get our halftime break in. Trevor, Keith saying he heard an analyst say Justin Fields was frozen and was holding on to the ball with open receivers. Thoughts? My thoughts is I never liked Justin Fields coming out, Keith. I don't know. Frozen's a kind of a bad word to use because if the coaches felt he was if an analyst is saying he was frozen, wouldn't you think the coaches would see that on the sidelines and Tyrod Taylor would be in? But Aaron Glenn said there was no doubt in my mind they were taking Justin Fields out of that game. I just think frozen's the wrong word to use. I just think the coverage was incredible, and they had a spy on Justin Fields every play, and he had nowhere to go with the ball. And the pass rush was there, so he couldn't scramble. And I think instead of throwing the ball away, he took the sacks. I think so. It was coverage sacks all around. Your thoughts, Trevor?
Yeah, I mean I seen that a little bit. Again, I don't know if I would say frozen, but I think that he definitely held on to the ball way too long, and that's something that has really been an issue for Justin Fields. And going back to last year when he played for Pittsburgh, that was an issue for him as well. Wide open wide receivers down the field, and he wanted to throw the football, or he couldn't see him. And I think there is a little bit of vision issues there with Justin Fields a lot as well, especially from the pocket. I think that's why he likes to bounce outside quite a bit. Reminds you a little bit of Russell Wilson at times. I'm not going to lie. But, I think that there was some wide receivers open downfield that Justin Fields, could have thrown the ball to. I think he struggles to see the field. And credit to that, though, to Vance Joseph as well for being in Justin Fields' face and not just playing zone and playing back. He went and pressured Justin Fields early, blitzed him, got after him, got in his face, and didn't let him escape and get outside the pocket. That's exactly what you do against a mobile quarterback like Justin Fields.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello from Karen. Karen saying, "Here I am. Go Broncos." Welcome, Karen. Just in time for the second half of the show. So we're going to take our little halftime break. I'm going to pass it to Trevor to tell us about our wonderful sponsor this evening.
Yes, our wonderful sponsor is Morgan Trinkets, of course. Let me tell you a little bit about our sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. With over 33 years' experience, they are your headquarters for Southwest pottery and jewelry, as well as estate gold at wholesale prices. Started in 1990, once a nationwide company. Now they do shows exclusively in northern Colorado and southern Wyoming. All their gold is real gold, 10, 14, or 18 karat gold, and all their silver is sterling silver. How do you find Morgan Trinkets? On Facebook by searching Morgan Trinkets Co. on Etsy today. If you catch Morgan Trinkets at one of their shows, they take all major credit cards. On Facebook, they take PayPal, and all orders are shipped free over $50. Check out Morgan Trinkets. That is Morgan Trinkets Co. on Etsy today.
And Ms. Pearl saying those shows until December. So a little break. December will be here for you know it, and right around the Christmas holidays. So definitely check out Ms. Pearl if you're in the area. If not, like Trevor just said, check out Morgan Trinkets and nice Christmas gifts. I'm going to think this year, Ms. Pearl, I'm going to be checking out Morgan Trinkets myself around Christmas time. I work with wonderful nurses, and I'm going to, give them raffle off a couple of gifts from Morgan Trinkets on my end. So I work with wonderful people, and I want to, applaud them and, show them the recognition they deserve. Trevor, second half of the show, we got a couple fun topics for everybody. I think first one I want to do with you in the audience, if you have paper or anybody has paper, I'll give everybody a couple seconds if they want to write these down. I want everybody to write down in no particular order who you think are the best 5 teams in the AFC right now. And then Trevor and we'll play along, Trevor, and we'll debate where these teams should be after we write these 5 down. So I have my 5 written down. If you need a second, I'll read mine and you can, go with yours. In no particular order, I have the Buffalo Bills in top 5. I have Indianapolis Colts. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have the Los Angeles Chargers, and I have our Denver Broncos in the top 5 right now in the AFC. And then in a minute, we're going to go from 5 to 1 and see where these Broncos fit in. Because I'm sure you got the Broncos in the top 5 with their record at 4-2.
Ooh, do I?
If not, then you're going to have to sit out the segment. Because I'm debating that they got to be in the top 5. Ooh. But let's see your top 5, and then we're going to see if we got some different teams, we got to take somebody out.
Mm-hmm. So for me, it's Patriots, Colts, Bills, Chiefs, and Steelers.
Okay, Patriots and Chiefs. You don't have the Broncos and Chargers in there.
Nope. No, because and I'll tell you why exactly. Broncos again, it's offensively. I'm not just going by record. I'm going by what I've seen. The Chiefs they're getting Xavier Worthy back. I mean, he's been back for a little bit. The Rashid Rice is coming back now. I mean, they're getting more healthy. That they're still going to be an issue. It's just what it is. Chargers, from an injury standpoint, they just lost Hampton for a while. I know they got Vidal, but they've got offensive line issues now with the injuries they've had as well. So those are the reasons why I'm kind of concerned. The Broncos just inconsistency. I mean, if they could find more consistency on offense, it would be my top 5. But again, if the Broncos didn't play the Jets on Sunday and it was any other team like Steelers or the Patriots, would they have won that game? I don't know.
I'm okay with the Colts being in that list. I'm okay with the Bills being in that list. I'm okay with the Steelers being on that list. Mm-hmm. I got to put the Broncos in there somewhere. So I got to go either the Patriots are coming out or the Chiefs are coming out. And the reason why Broncos have to be in there is the same reason you had the Broncos out of there. I got to put the Broncos in because of their defense. This defense can go in any week and win a game by itself. We saw it on Sunday. If this offense gets a little better, they might be number 1 in the AFC. So right now, I gotta if I got the Broncos as the top defense in the AFC, I gotta have them in the top 5 somewhere. So I'm taking the Chiefs out. I know they look good against the Lions, but the Lions secondary, they got nobody. They're calling people from the supermarkets. They're all hurt. They're all hurt. And yeah, they're home. They just lost to the Jaguars, and the Jaguars just lost to the Seahawks. The Jaguars just lost and put up 12 points against the Seahawks, and they went in on Monday night and lost to the Jaguars. And you're going to put the Chiefs still in there in the top 5 team in this AFC over the Broncos?
They're getting healthy. Rasheed Rice is coming back.
But right now they're not on their field yet. Right now, this week, let's see what the audience is going. Colts, number 1 in the AFC. Bills, Chiefs, Colts, Steelers, Jaguars, Pats. That's 6th, Roy. And you still get, I don't know, man. You might not be allowed at the Bronco game. Don't go looking at Bronco fans if you don't have them in the top 6. I'm joking with you, of course, Roy. Love you. Denver Broncos are number 7 right now in the AFC from Michael. KC, Buffalo, Colts, New England, Steelers. That is the new update standing in the AFC. Patriots out. I got the Patriots and Chiefs out.
My order. You got the Patriots out when they beat the Bills and Drake May, when he's looking?
Patriots could be in there. Could be. I got the Colts number 1. I got the Broncos number 2. I do, and nobody else. The Bronco. This is the outside perspective, and Bronco fans don't even get you guys in the top 5. I got the Broncos number 2 right now.
So that if you got them at number 2, but their offense being inconsistent, that doesn't concern you. Do you think it's just a one-off then, like this week?
I think the defense is so good that the Broncos, if they score 20 points, that's all they need to score each week is around 20, and they'll win games. I can't say that for the Bills. That's why the Bills are below the Broncos. Bills defense does not look good. 80-yard run, Bijan Robinson yesterday. They're barely in there. Chargers, I got them in because they did what they did yesterday and beat who'd they beat yesterday? I got them trying to blank. Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
They went and beat Minnesota, drawing a blank. Steelers have been winning, but I'm not sold on the Steelers yet neither. Like, this AFC is up for grabs. So we can have fun, and debate this. But the real fun is just what I wanted. Just what I wanted from you, Trevor, and the Bronco fans is not having them in the top 5. Because we got about 10 or so minutes left, a little 10 to 15 minutes left, and this is going to be fun. Okay? Get a couple comments first. Keith saying, how does everyone have the Steelers in the top 5? What do they got? They got an AFC North, Keith, that's got Joe Burrow injured, Lamar Jackson, and the Cleveland Browns, who have a different quarterback every week. I got them in as a default, Keith, but I still got the Broncos in over them. So they're leading the AFC North. I got them in there because they're leading their division and they only have 1 loss. So that's why I got them in. But they're on the way out too, Keith. Trust me. But this is perfect because I wanted everybody to have the Broncos out because now we're all in agreement. Defense, Super Bowl caliber defense, correct? Offense is struggling, correct? Offense is struggling big time, I would say. So now, last segment of the night, help is on the way. We talked about offensive line, and let's recap the offensive line for those just coming in, Trevor. Matt Pert, Ben Powers, about a 4-week injury, roughly, could be more.
Yeah.
Scary. You don't have much depth on the offensive line. It showed against that Jets. Matt Pert. Now Matt Pert goes on the IR. Calvin Throckmorton, practice squad player, gets elevated. Maybe Alex Pacheski goes and plays. They just signed Carson Barnhart from the Chargers. And he ain't even on the active roster on the Chargers offensive line who's banged up. This is trouble. So we mentioned earlier, a free agent name in Brandon Scherf, maybe call him out of retirement, or maybe call the Giants for Evan Neal, only a couple of years in, still on his rookie contract, seventh pick in the draft, second offensive tackle off the draft that year. Both agree we need offensive line help, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to give up much. Maybe you go get a free agent. This offense needs at least one star playmaker, and I mean a star playmaker, and then maybe one average playmaker to bring in some help on this offense. If, in my opinion, you want to call yourself a Super Bowl contender. Now, I got some names and I got some offers for you all, and you tell me yes or no. Okay. And I got a couple of these from ideas from other podcasts, and I got a couple of ideas on my own. And I follow Giants podcasts, and we're in the same boat. We're looking for maybe a wide receiver. So I'll start with wide receivers. Okay. First name I'm going to give you, we saw it on Sunday. Garrett Wilson did not look happy. Garrett Wilson is an all-pro wide receiver that would be a number one wide receiver on this team, a 1-1A with Cortland Sutton. Now, it is going to cost you. Garrett Wilson's probably going to cost you minimum a second-round pick if you're lucky. If you're lucky. But to get a star, you got to give up something. Are you doing a second-round pick for Garrett Wilson, knowing what our rookies are doing this year? Nothing.
Would I do it?
I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
For Garrett Wilson, I'm doing it.
I would say
because he's young and he's on a contract, and he'll be a receiver for a few years. It's not just this year.
I would say that the Jets would probably laugh at you and hang up the phone if that's what you thought you're going to offer them for Garrett. It's going to take multiple first-round picks, I think, for Garrett Wilson. And then he's got that knee injury, too, after the game. So he's going to be out. It sounds like he's going to be out for a while.
That's my point. Second-round pick, couple second-round picks maybe. He's got a knee problem. But, okay. All right, let's get him out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
This one will cost you a second-round pick because I'm not giving up a first-round pick. And I've watched some Giants podcasts, and they had this idea and said the same thing. Now, the Broncos pick's going to be a little further down the line. So, I'm still not giving up a first-round pick for this guy, but not a number one wide receiver, but a top number 2 wide receiver in this league, Jalen Waddle. Under contract for a couple of years. He comes into the offense, and I think that could be a difference maker.
Yeah. Jalen Waddle, he's a heck of a player. I wonder what Tyreek Hill possibly out the door in Miami after this season. Are they willing to give up Waddle too? It just kind of scares me.
Yeah, his name's heating up. That's why I put him on this list. His name is heating up.
Yeah, I think the same thing with Garrett Wilson is probably going to cost you. I would say throw a first-round pick. I still think it's going to cost you a first-round pick for Waddle just because of how young he is, and if the Dolphins do plan on moving off from Tyreek Hill after this season, that's going to be their weapon. You're taking away weapons from Tua, and you're expecting him to succeed. That's the hard part. So I would be interested in Jalen Waddle for sure, but what's the price tag? I still think it's been pretty high.
Let me switch that up a little bit. A second-round pick, because it's going to be later in the second round. So I agree with you. I'm not giving up a first-round pick, but how about a player? How about a player added in there? You got 2 rookies that you drafted, Savion Jones and Q Robinson. How about Jonah Ellis gets healthy? Maybe throw him in the mix. Your defense is set right now. Defense, Jonah Ellis isn't going to get much playing time. Do you throw a young Jonah Ellis in with a second-round pick for Jalen Waddle?
If the Broncos, I think absolutely. But, I still don't know if the Dolphins buy on that exactly because Jonah Ellis hasn't done a lot as is. So you'd be really banking on his upside, which, I don't know what exactly that is. And then that's late second-round pick. I still think you'd have to throw a late first round pick in there because it's going to be, you're hoping at least for the Bronco fans' sake that first round pick is towards the bottom of the draft and later in the draft, not early. So still think it'd be probably a later first round pick for the Broncos if they're going to give up anything for a Garrett Wilson or a Jalen Waddle. I just don't know the Dolphins would be sold on Jonah Ellis right yet.
And this one's for Keith. I had him on my list. Not Chris Olave, the speedster, Rashid Shaheed. What would it cost? What do you think would be a good price for him? He's I don't want to, one trick pony's the wrong word to use, but he burned the Giants secondary for a 90-yard touchdown, split the safeties, busted coverage, and there was no catching him because he's 4.3-ish, 4.29-ish speed. I would bring him over because I think that's something the Broncos need, is that type of receiver to complement Cortland Sutton. And B, what do you think it would take to get him?
I would tell you right now it's going to cost a lot less to get Rashid Shaheed because he's an impending free agent after the season. So I like the name in addition. I mean, I guess my point is for these names, what does it tell your young wide receivers? If you just go out there and get Rashid Shaheed, what does it say about Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and Pat Bryant? I mean, you just drafted Pat Bryant this past season. Does that mean you're giving up on these guys from a developmental standpoint if you go after Rashid Shaheed? I mean, you're trying to give Bo Nix weapons. I get that, but you went this far as like developing these young wide receivers behind Cortland Sutton. It kind of seemed like you'd be cutting bait a little bit with at least one of those guys if you go after Rashid Shaheed. I mean, again, impending free agent, but after the season, so you don't have to bring him back, but he's going to take playing time away from somebody. I like the name though, and it's certainly going to be cheaper.
Yeah, I'm going to get to Phil in a second because he just sent more stars. My thoughts on it: you traded Devon Bailey. He's doing nothing in New Orleans. Okay. My concern is Troy Franklin. You gave him a chance. He fumbled the ball early last week. Didn't do anything the rest of the game. Pat Bryant's been non-existent the whole season. A couple plays here and there. That's it. Okay. Mims is Mims. If you want to be a Super Bowl contender, I really think, and go and give your team a shot because your defense is there, in my opinion, you got to make a move somewhere. So if it's not at wide receiver, it's got to be in the next position I got. Maybe a couple other names to keep an eye out for. I highly doubt the Broncos bring back Jerry Jeudy, but his name's been surfacing. But Alec Pierce is a name to keep an eye out for. The Colts have been that's a new name on the list to keep an eye out for. Definitely like a little Alec Pierce, like his style of play. Phil sent some stars. Thank you, Phil. I may be crazy, but I'm still waiting for our picks and other wide receivers to get enough plays to see what we have now at wide receiver. We need linebacker and offensive line.
I agree with Phil on that one. I'm with Phil on that for 100%. And Phil, I would add in tight end in there as well. I think you still need another tight end. I mean, yeah, Evan Ingram might get it, but I don't know how reliable he's going to be.
Perfect segue. So we're going to pass on wide receiver. Okay. I honestly think the Broncos need to add a playmaker of some sort by the deadline. Depth is a problem in a couple positions on this team. Offensive line, which we just in Phil's comments said need all line. Somebody goes down, there's no depth there. We've seen that. So now, yes, go find somebody, whether it's through trade. Free agency, I'm not excited about, but if you can get somebody out of retirement, I would go that route. Tight ends, Trevor. Evan Ingram is above average tight end, top 10 tight end in this league when healthy. But you're walking on eggshells each week, holding your breath that this guy stays healthy, because if he was to get hurt, you're stuck with Lucas Krull again, who's hurt, Adam Troutman, and Akins as your tight end. There's some tight ends I got listed here, and if you got any more, Trevor, let me know. But this could be the playmaker you need. I got 3 tight ends on this list that if we made a trade for him, their role, they need to know their role is going to be, you're going to be Mark Ingram, you're going to be Evan Ingram's backup. We're going to run some 2 tight end sets. We're going to get creative. First name on the list, name that's really surfaced in the last couple of weeks with them struggling, Mark Andrews. I'm doing it. It's probably going to cost you maybe a day 2 pick, but probably a day 3 pick, an early day 3 pick gets it done. So a 4th or a 5th round pick probably gets Mark Andrews to the Broncos. Maybe a 2026 4th and a 2027 6th round, something like that, 2 picks. And that gets Mark Andrews over here because the Ravens are in a lot of trouble, and I think that might be a surprise selling team real soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what the kind of player I was hinting at, Mark Andrews. And I responded to somebody on Twitter, and they were throwing names out there, and I said Mark Andrews, expiring deal. There's no voids at the end of the deal. I mean, some of these guys that you might be mentioning, David Njoku, some of those guys have void years on them. And so there's extra money added to the deal down the line that you're going to have to pay. But for me, Mark Andrews is perfect. And, after this season, it's a 1-year deal. After this, you can move on from him if it don't work out. If you're the Denver Broncos and you truly believe you're a playoff contender, which obviously they think they are, why would it matter giving up a 3rd or 4th round pick for a guy like Mark Andrews? You have Isaiah Likely right behind Mark Andrews, who's been waiting in the wings, ready to take over for Mark Andrews. I love Mark Andrews. I think he should. This is a guy the Broncos should absolutely at least take a serious look at because of Evan Ingram. Just not being able to. I mean, again, but for a good majority of the time, he wasn't even the tight end with the most snaps on the field. I mean, so it was Adam Troutman. Adam Troutman was playing more than Evan Ingram. I mean, so it's just like with Mark Andrews, you're getting a little bit more, not just a vertical threat, but you're getting a willing blocker in there as well, and a guy that's done it at a high level for a long time. Yes, there's some issues. Fumbling the ball seems like to be an issue. Drops are an issue with him at times. But you know what? He's a veteran playmaker. It's not going to cost you a lot. You're still giving Bo Nix a veteran, a reliable pass catcher that he can go and grow with this season and have that extra guy. Yes, he has Evan Ingram, but again, he's been a little inconsistent, either staying on the field or just being involved in the offense. So Mark Andrews, a guy like Mark Andrews for me is very, very interesting. And I think would add something to this tight end room. And Kenny, one more thing. I know you got a lot of names to go to. We can go in overtime if you want, but you're not locked down to a tight end. If you go get Njoku, you're locked down a little bit more. With Njoku, this is probably a multi-year thing with him. Mark Andrews is a 1-year thing. This year in the draft, you can go draft your tight end higher in the draft and pair that with Bo Nix, and they can grow together. That's why also another reason why I like Mark Andrews.
I absolutely love Mark Andrews. That's why he was the first tight end I had on the list. No brainer. I don't like bringing this guy's name up because of what he did off the field, and now he's probably down below, and that's Aaron Hernandez. But Aaron Hernandez and Gronk, when they were on the Patriots, the 2 tight end sets that they got creative with, the Broncos can do the same thing in the red zone. You have Ingram and Andrews in the red zone. I sign up for that every day. Good luck trying to stop that. Good luck. And with Cortland Sutton, look at those red zone targets for Bo Nix and anybody targets he can throw to. I don't want to mention David Njoku. I'm looking at the time. David Njoku, you mentioned, what it's going to cost. Again, it's going to cost like a middle round pick if they want to move off him. I don't know if the Browns want to move off him. They might want to go with their 2 tight end sets. Being Harold Fannon's more of a wide receiver, a tweener. Like he's that size. That's why he dropped in the draft, because he was considered more of a wide receiver than tight end. And they said, oh, his speed's going to hurt him in the NFL. He's having a nice career so far, but they might want to keep Njoku for more of the blocking schemes and, being a blocking and receiving threat. I got another name for you, and then I got 2 more names for you. First one falls in the same category as Evan Ingram, walking on eggshells. But Are they both going to be hurt at the same time? Probably not. So if one got hurt, at least you got the other one there. He retired for 1 year, and now he's having a heck of a season over there in Miami. And when healthy, when with the Raiders, I'm sorry. I said he's a top 5 tight end. When? Keyword is when. When healthy, Darren Waller was a top 5 tight end, in my opinion, in the NFL with the Raiders. Any chance Broncos maybe go try and get a Darren Waller, who would be a nice receiving target, red zone threat to back up Evan Ingram, know his role. You're going to be on in 15 to 20 snaps, and that's it. Unless Ingram gets hurt, this is going to be your role. Red zone, target, get the touchdowns for us. That's going to be your role. Not going to cost you much. If any, it's going to cost you nothing to get Darren Waller, who I think the Dolphins may try and get draft pick for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see if they even move off Darren Waller. I'm not so sure they're going to, but Mike McDaniel, his seat's got to be getting a little hot. And I think that you're going to give him time to turn things around, I think, if you're the Dolphins. And part of that's going to be Darren Waller probably staying in Miami. They could trade him away, but again, you're trading another target away for Tua, and you're putting Tua in a really difficult spot now because now you don't have Tyreek Hill and you don't have Darren Waller now. And they got rid of Jonnu Smith for Darren Waller. I mean, that should say quite a bit because Jonnu Smith had a heck of a year last year in Miami. So could Miami move off of him? Yeah, he's an intriguing name for sure. He's a little up there in age. I still think he's probably closer to Evan Ingram than he is anything. But, yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, and the price tag probably wouldn't be ridiculous for him. But I would just be curious if Miami's how aggressive they're going to be to move off of him. I don't think they're going to be aggressive to move off of him, at least yet. I think they're going to want to try to win and try to make things right so Mike McDaniel can keep his job.
The last name, Trevor, I don't want you or the audience to say yes or no this week. Next week on Wednesday or Friday's show, maybe, Morning Juice for those people who watch Morning Juice and come check us out on Monday mornings, Keith and I, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Watch the game this week coming up against the Giants. The Giants' backup tight end, Daniel Bellinger. We have a rookie, Thomas Fedone, who just got elevated to the main roster last week. He's starting to play and get snaps. Daniel Bellinger's been getting more snaps as well since the Malik Neighbors injury. Daniel Bellinger's a receiving target and a good blocker. Keep an eye out for that name, Broncos country. I want you to watch Daniel Bellinger closely and tell me next week if you would trade for him. It would cost you maybe they got him in the second round a couple years ago. He got poked in the eye and lost a few weeks to an eye injury. So he wears the protective shield on his helmet. But he never really, I'm not saying he's not going to get you 100 yards and 10 catches, but he's good for 4 for 40, 5 for 50, move the chains. Keep an eye on him on Sunday. Let me know next week if you would trade him, because I think that could be a perfect backup role, better than Lucas Kroll and Adam Troutman, who are currently your number 2 and number 3 tight ends. Keep an eye out for that name, Trevor.
Gotcha.
Got Patrick saying, aloha, Bronco brothers. What's up, Patrick? Patrick over there, Lion Coffee. Thanks, Patrick, for joining. Takes care of us everywhere and all around the United States. You drinking your Lion Coffee tonight, Trevor?
I wish at 9:23 p.m. I wish I was. I would be.
It's funny. Keith wants to know, would we bring back Noah Fant? Could be cheap coming out of Cincinnati. I think that would be an upgrade from Lucas Kroll and Adam Troutman. Yes, I would.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Noah Fant, it drove me crazy with Noah Fant when he's in Denver. Again, a vertical threat downfield, but couldn't block to save his life. I mean, he struggled to block. And it's the same thing with Evan Ingram. I mean, you just got to be careful of who you're acquiring. Is this a tight end that can do a little bit of everything? Because if you're the Broncos, that's what you want to find. That's why I say, don't lock yourself down to a tight end this year. Play it out. Either play it out with Evan Ingram and play it out with Troutman and see what can happen, or go get a rental for a season. Because the key to success, Sam Laporta, you have George Kittle, Travis Kelce, all draft picks, very successful. You got to draft and develop a tight end. The Broncos haven't done it since Greg Dulcich. That's been their problem. They haven't swung yet since Greg Dulcich. They need to swing for the fences, try to find that tight end to pair up with Bo Nix, a tight end that can do a little bit of everything. And they just don't have that right now, and that's the problem. Noah Fant, I don't think he solves that. Yeah, I give you a vertical threat down the field. And from a vertical threat standpoint, I mean, over Lucas Kroll and Adam Troutman, yes, but I still think you'd still see a fair share of Adam Troutman on the field, even if you did acquire Noah Fant.
Yeah. The reason why I say keep an eye out for Daniel Bellinger, I believe he's getting blocked right now by the Giants and could be the odd man out going forward, especially pending on what happens Sunday. If the Broncos beat the Giants are 2-5. They want to bring up their rookie, who quick story on him. So we're almost out of time. Thomas Fedone was higher ranked coming out of high school than Brock Bowers. And 2 ACL injuries cost him his college career, hurt him in the draft. Got drafted in the 6th round, had a nice preseason, and now it looks like the Giants want to bring him up to the main roster and give him a chance. Bellinger could be the odd man out, could be a man that the Giants could look to trade. That's why I say keep an eye out for him, number 82 on Sunday. We all know, part of the Broncos' weaknesses is coverage with the linebackers. So keep an eye on him, and let me know if you would make a trade for Daniel Bellinger. Name that I know nobody has mentioned on any TV shows, podcasts, or friends and family, etc. So keep an eye out for that. Could be an exclusive from the Denver Bronco Roundup. Daniel Bellinger to the Broncos.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm messing. Anyway, Keith, I'm calling you Keith because Keith says, well, I ain't bringing back Albert. Oh, I'm not going to even attempt to try and say his name. We'll just.
You did that on purpose.
I know. I'm just shocked he probably got the spelling right. It probably took him 5 minutes to get it right.
Yeah.
So, want to get some final thoughts in?
Yeah, final thoughts from me. I mean, again, great game by the defense on Sunday. Offense still the up and downs, but it's still a long season. I mean, I'm not this whole Kenny, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've seen a lot of Sean Payton needs to give up play calling and this is that. I mean, or fire Sean Payton. That's not the answer. Firing a coach midseason doesn't really do much for you. And because now the rest of the coaching staff has a step up. I mean, give it time with Sean Payton. Yes, he needs to be better. I'm not willing to go as far as he needs to give up play calling first and foremost. He never will. But I think you still got to believe in what Sean Payton can do because the Broncos have invested into him, and he has done some good things, regardless of how stubborn he is or maybe ego gets the better of him at times. He's still done a lot of great things for the Broncos. Give it a full season before we can really judge what Sean Payton, who he is. Definitely some concerns from a play calling standpoint, but I still want to give Sean Payton the time he needs and deserves. The Broncos need to give him that as well, and they will, being that they've invested as much as they have into him. So I think the Broncos, there still might be some ups and downs this season, but they've got to get in a rhythm here at some point in time. I think hopefully here in the near future, the defense looks good. Offense and special teams got to start stepping up a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned special teams. That's big. Special teams definitely has to step up. Go make a move for a tight end. Improve the depth on the offensive line. And let's not be on eggshells each week. I'll answer this one from Keith. Do you think we could pull Cole Kmet or Colston Loveland from the Bears? The way they're playing right now, Keith, I'm going to say no because they're in playoff contention and they just beat the Commanders last night. I'm going to say no right now on that one.
They're not trading Colston Loveland. I mean, that's their first round pick. I love Colston Loveland too. I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to continue to grow. You've seen Tyler Warren do it year one, but I think Colston Loveland's only going to get better as time goes on. I don't see Colston Loveland being available. Cole Kmet, the thing is, though, the Bears are in playoff contention, so I doubt it.
And real quick from Phil, Trevor, how long you giving the O to develop?
Phil, I'm running out of patience with this offense. I'm not
That's
going
why
to
you
lie.
got to make that move. Bring a tight end in. Bring somebody in. Shake it up. Shake it up. And my final thought is, I don't want to see this from Sean Payton with this sheet like this where you can't see his face. I know you're not going to drop it to this, Sean, but drop it to this one page. I don't want the little. Yeah, I know we're not going to get the little card playbook. Give me the one page. Don't give me the two where you can't see your face and you're like this with you don't know, and you're turning pages over and you're not getting the play in on time. Shorten the playbooks, make it more simple. You don't have to go crazy. I'm a Giant fan. You don't have to go crazy. Keep the game plan simple because the defense is going to be simple. They're going to come aggressive. All right. Have 20 plays and that's it, Sean. That's all you need. You don't need 200 plays on Sunday. Shorten the playbook. We're going to have some fun. We'll be back on Friday. I hope Trevor and Keith will allow me to join them on Friday. We'll have a nice fun show lined up for you all on Friday with the Broncos versus the Giants preview and prediction show. Until then, couple days off. We will see everybody Friday as Keith does it and Keith only, except tonight. Remember, keep your guns in the holsters, boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and the Broncos in your heart. Have a good night, everybody.